Marvel Rivals is a game with an extremely colorful and likable cast of characters with decades upon decades of interactions and relationships. So it's no surprise Rivals implemented a gameplay mechanic to feature team-ups for its large cast of heroes. Some examples of beloved team-ups in this game are Symbiote Bond, where Venom shares their symbiote with Spider-Man and Penny Parker. A perfect implementation of a beloved interaction between characters that just makes sense to be connected, to have team-ups, as typical for superheroes. Another beloved team-up is Voltaic Union, where Thor shares his God of Thunder powers with two of the only people worthy of Mjolnir, and characters close to Thor, Captain America and Storm. Seeing these unique abilities that could only come from beloved team-ups like the Spider-Men or the Mjolnir wielders, teaming up added motivation to play these characters, and an enhanced feeling of accuracy to what we know and love about these characters. This is what's special about Marvel Rivals, that we already know these characters and their interactions, relationships, and unique abilities. And having these unique abilities adds to the gameplay and familiarity of the characters. Though the problem is, not all team-ups were equally as interesting. Some even felt completely out of nowhere. Take, for example, Black Panther having a team-up with Magic. These characters have nothing to do with each other. And Psylocke, a character who does have a lot to do with magic, was removed from the team-up, leaving a team-up of two characters who have never actually teamed up before, or even have anything to do with each other. And yes, a character can be removed from a team-up, and thus make the team-up make no sense anymore. All the fun and excitement of seeing your favorite characters combine powers can just disappear. I mean, not only can characters be removed from team-ups, the entire team-up itself can be removed. Remember those great team-ups I spoke of earlier? The Symbiote Bond and Voltaic Union? They're both completely removed from the game. Completely inaccessible and unplayable now. Even the team-up I thought didn't make sense with Black Panther and Magic, Dimensional Shortcut, was removed. And I have to be honest, I don't like that. And don't get me wrong, I understand why team-ups are like this, able to be removed and sometimes between two randoms. It's for balancing. Sometimes team-ups are between random heroes for balancing, giving underplayed heroes buffs or encouraging a specific team synergy. Team-ups can end up incredibly beneficial for some characters, creating combos that kill easily, and buff a character maybe more than expected, which is why team-ups can be removed or nerfed by having a character removed from them. But just as a hero can be nerfed by just adjusting stats and smaller changes keeping their core gameplay, I believe team-ups can be treated the same way. Not removed completely, but adjusted and having their core team-ups remain the same. Let's remove the seasonal team-ups or temporary team-ups and make team-ups a core focus of the game. And let's try to keep things fair. Let's give every character a similar amount of team-ups. And because it's a complete revamp, I'm going to go extra with it. I'm going to give every character a minimum of 4 team-ups. Whether they're just an anchor or a participant in the team-up, this is a real maximalist effort. I want this game to be able to teach fans about relationships and abilities shared between characters in the comics. I want players to be rewarded for building teams around actual team-ups that exist in the comics. If a 6-man team is all X-Men or all Guardians or all Avengers, they should be rewarded for that with various team-ups that connect all of them. For instance, what if a team was composed of Groot, Venom, Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Adam Warlock, and Mantis? That'd be all Guardians of the Galaxy members. So shouldn't all these heroes have at least one team up with another? That way we can use all these relationships to create a bombastic element to this game. Encourage understanding of each character, their teams and interactions, as well as their special abilities that can be shared within each other, creating new combinations that is just fun to play with and watch. So yes, with some exceptions, I want to give every character multiple team-ups and a complete revamp of Marvel Rivals team-up systems. This would cause games to have entire new layers of complexity and outright be more fun, because we get more options and more accurate characters. And I have every hero. We're going to go through every hero, how I would design their team-ups, and I'm ready to show you. We'll go alphabetical order, with the hero on focus on the left, and who they anchor for slightly smaller besides them on the right. Who the hero has as their anchors for other team-ups will be icons in the top right corner. And you will see those icons in smaller portraits combined to create at least 4 team-ups for everyone. Certain special characters who you could consider the main characters of Marvel will have 5 team-ups rather than 4. Nothing to make them more overpowered, but a nod to how important some characters are to Marvel history. Before we get into each character individually, comment your predictions for team-ups, or who you see as important enough to the Marvel Universe to get 5 team-ups instead of 4. Also, please subscribe, and comment your overall thoughts on this idea, and on how Marvel Rivals handles team-ups as it is. Oh, and subscribing with notifications would be even better, since this is a very small channel, so any interaction will help a lot shorten the gap between videos and serve as inspiration, or perhaps a mention in a future video. Starting with the first character alphabetically, Adam Warlock. I think Guardian Revival was a perfect team-up that perfectly matched not only Adam's abilities, but also his role in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He could use his godly cocoons to revive Mantis or Star-Lord, of course with long cooldowns in between. For future reference, we'll wait to explain who are the anchors for the hero we're focusing on once they get to those specific heroes. So for example, for Adam Warlock, even though Phoenix and Thor are anchors for him, we'll explain why he is connected to those characters once we get to those 2 specific heroes. Next is one of the newer characters to Marvel Rivals, Angela. Her team-up is Spawn of Asgard, a combination of her current team-up with Thor, but expanding it to add Cloak and Dagger. We add Cloak to this team-up to reference Angela's origins in the Spawn comic book series, with a hero with a similar moveset in Cloak. Cloak and Spawn are kind of parallels to reference Spawn. Cloak would be granted a projectile attack similar to Spawn's guns without being 1-to-1 for copyright reasons. Her fighting style fits the best fighting alongside Thor, rather than having her team up with Loki, and especially not Hela, who is a bit too evil for this angel. Next is Black Panther, with Vibranium for All. This is focused on T'Challa opening Wakanda to the world, starting with his wife Storm, his friend and fellow Illuminati member Mr. Fantastic, and a representative from the stars who also represents Black Panther expanding into an intergalactic empire of Wakanda with Mantis. Storm and Mantis have also been previous Avengers, and Black Panther has been connected to the Avengers numerous times. Vibranium has many abilities, such as storing memories or kinetic energy, and we will use that to grant Vibranium to these 3 heroes. Storm uses her Vibranium to launch a Vibranium spear along with lightning, just like Black Panther can. Mr. Fantastic uses his Vibranium to create a scientific device capable of firing harmful rays of Vibranium energy. Mantis uses Vibranium to heal in a burst rather than over time. Black Panther is also our first character I consider major enough to get 5 team-ups, and it also represents his leadership, intelligence, and empirical power to be an anchor for 3 different heroes, and all from 3 different sects of the Marvel Universe as well. Black Widow is a solitary figure, only an anchor for one other hero. Daredevil, to reference the significant amount of time Black Widow was a main character in Daredevil comics. There was even a time where the title of Daredevil comics changed to Daredevil and Black Widow. Black Widow upgrades Daredevil's batons to stun batons, such as she uses. Due to the MCU making her a leading lady of the Marvel Universe, I let her have 5 team-ups. However, she's only the anchor for 1. It's almost like a lot of people are attracted to her, and she's using it to her advantage. Blade is an anchor for fellow teammates from Midnight Suns and Strike Force. He shares vampire hunting gear with Doctor Strange, Elsa Bloodstone, and Angela. Doctor Strange can fire off an enchanted stake. Elsa's guns are upgraded with Blade's special silver, and Angela's lance gets an EMP added to its radius. Blade is an utter arsenal of unique weaponry, so of course he is a popular anchor that gives all his teammates different weapons. Bruce Banner, the Hulk. In reference to how important Clint is to Bruce, the only person Bruce trusts enough to actually be able to kill the Hulk, Hawkeye is given a gamma arrow, the same type of arrow Bruce once asked Hawkeye to use to kill the Hulk. This is also a connection from Hulk to the Avengers. Even if he isn't a mainstay original member, he is still connected to them, and this is through Hawkeye he'll be connected to them. In reference to Brawn, the other Hulk, Amadeus Cho, who is a teammate of Luna Snow and the Agents of Atlas, Bruce charges Luna's ice with Radiant Gamma. Bruce also gets 5 team-ups, as the Hulk is a core character in Marvel Comics, and I don't think anyone would argue that. Another core character of Marvel, thanks to the Avengers' recent popularity and his place in history for Marvel, is Captain America. Cap forms a union with fellow Avengers Iron Man and Thor, as well as his sidekick, the Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes. Cap can offer reflections of Iron Man's blast, Thor's lightning, and Bucky's voltage. While Cap may not be the arsenal that Blade is, his leadership guaranteed him to be the anchor for multiple characters. Also, no one is allowed to make any comments on him having no team-ups with mutants. Namor is an anchor for him, so no jokes of that allowed. No jokes of that. I'll delete your comment. I'm just kidding, I won't. Anyways, Cloak and Dagger's team-ups represent a metaphorical representation of light, dark, and what's in between, just like Cloak and Dagger. Spider-Man, as a friend of Tandy and Ty, and in whose book Cloak and Dagger actually debuted in, is included in the team-up, as well as Punisher, who has teamed with the two, and also debuted in the Spider-Man book. Emma represents when Cloak and Dagger joined the X-Men, specifically the Dark X-Men. All 3 gain the ability to temporarily hide in the Dark Force and heal. Spider-Man represents light, Punisher represents the dark, and Emma is a mixture of the two. Daredevil teams with 2 heroes he frequently teams up with anyways, Spider-Man and Iron Fist. His team-up also represents the Marvel Knights, Daredevil's own team. Daredevil offers his unique abilities to the two, offering temporary vision through walls. These team-ups speak for themselves. Daredevil has a lot of history with both these 2 characters. Deadpool is a unique character in Marvel Rivals, only being an anchor because absolutely no one wants to team up with him. They refuse to anchor for him. Most find him annoying or morally reprehensible. He offers his anchor to Wolverine and Spider-Man, who he has formed one-sided attraction to, probably because they're so popular. He can team with Jeff after he adopted Jeff from Gwen for a period of time. Psylocke is also included, as an X-Force teammate Deadpool has teamed with before. Deadpool lets them borrow his teleportation technology, letting them quickly teleport a short distance. Doctor Strange teams up with members of the Illuminati and Midnight Suns, those members being Namor and Moon Knight respectively. He offers Namor an extra-dimensional squid, and Moon Knight an Ankh of a Lovecraftian deity, in addition to the Ankhs from Khonshu. These 2 specifically represent Doctor Strange's interest in otherworldly beings, such as abyssal or divine creatures. Elsa Bloodstone is a little difficult since we don't know her moveset yet, but extrapolating from her 2 decades of comic history should be enough to infer. She teams up with a fellow hunter of monsters at Midnight Sun, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange hunts monsters of different realms entirely. She also teams up with Groot, one of Marvel's original monsters, and sort of a representation for Man-Thing, who teams up with Elsa. Stephen Strange and Groot are given increased resiliency stemming from Elsa's Bloodstone. Emma Frost, the White Queen, sees the most powerful mutants in the world as her pawns. She uses her knowledge and telepathic abilities to force the Phoenix and Magneto to share their powers. With the Phoenix Force shared, Jean is able to focus more on her psychic abilities, and with it, has chemistry with Emma's own psychic abilities. Jean is able to fire a telepathic blast through this team-up. Magneto, on the other hand, gains diamond plating on his metal armor, taken from Emma. Gambit shares kinetic cards with his lover, Rogue, and the woman who joins him and Rogue in their fight against the Collector and Grandmaster in the Marvel Rivals lore, Elsa Bloodstone. This team-up is a little flimsy, not really originating from the Marvel Comics world building or previous relationships or even other adaptations of Marvel. It's just from Rivals itself. I think having just one or two or a couple of these isn't a problem, as long as they don't start to outnumber team-ups with more basis in actual character relationships or just Marvel world building. So this is the only one for now. Groot keeps his ability with Rocket, allowing Rocket to ride on his back. I'd buff this ability personally, and really portray Groot as feeling complete with Rockets. They want to almost feel like one busted character instead of two characters just on each other. Rocket also being Groot's only team-up, instead of, adding a random character like Jeff to it, portrays how deep the connection is between Groot and Rocket. Hawkeye shares special arrows with two adopted family members. Jeff, from his protege Kate Bishop, and Avengers teammate, and his lifelong best friend, Black Widow. Hawkeye can fire an arrow, and Jeff will instantly jump to the arrow a short distance, chasing the arrow as if it's a stick, really showcasing Jeff's dogness. While Black Widow gains a sonic arrow that she can shoot from her gun, and it can shoot through a wall. Hawkeye and Black Widow having a team-up should be non-negotiable in my opinion. The two are just way too close not to. Hela offers her father Loki an exclusive ability of rebirth from hell. Not willing to team up with many other heroes, Hela would only team up with Loki. Hela doesn't offer the same to other Asgardians like Thor or Angela, or even other villains, seeing only Loki as a valuable pawn. The Human Torch teams up with his sister and rocky rival, The Thing, flying them in the air to either let Sue get away from danger on an invisible disc, or bring Ben clobbering down on an enemy. I consider all four of the Fantastic Four the first family of Marvel, so all four get 5 team-ups. But they're so close, they have team-ups within each other on top of their overall Fantastic Four team-up. Because yes, that overall Fantastic Four team-up is staying. Here it is, with Invisible Woman still as the anchor, offering shields to her husband, sister, and best man. This really shows Susan as the First Lady of Marvel, keeping the whole group together and safe. Moving away from the Fantastic Four, Iron Fist. He forms the Heroes for Hire with Moon Knight and Punisher. Iron Fist shares chi with the two, enhancing one of their abilities. Iron Man keeps Stark Protocol. However, he enhances it by adding fellow Illuminati member and genius scientist Black Panther. Black Panther gains an area of effect kinetic blast similar to how he can do in the MCU, and this is only available when he is at low damage from this team-up. This is similar to how he does more damage when he's at low health. Iron Man, as one of the 3 main Avengers, is one of the few given 5 team-ups. Squirrel Girl, as the closest thing Iron Man has to a sidekick in this game, is of course included in this team-up, and Ultron, as Iron Man had a hand in his creation and handling, and even modifies him in the Rivals lore. Jeff gains a team up with Namor, not based on prior interactions, but just the fact that Namor is canonically the Submariner King of the Sea. Jeff tells Namor, sharks are better than whales, changing Namor's ultimate from Monstro to a Megalodon. This would be good to show Namor's ability to communicate with sea life, a vital ability of his that can't really be represented with any other characters in Marvel Rivals. Loki teams up with his brother and daughter, part of him unable to separate himself from his family, despite any previous issues. He also teams with Luna Snow, as she embodies the performative arts he loves as a trickster god. With this team-up, Thor, Hela, and Luna can form projections of their own death while secretly staying alive and hiding. This is a reference to what Loki does constantly, fake his own death. Speaking of Luna Snow, she gains a team-up with Iron Fist. Her team-up is the Agents of Atlas, and she empowers Iron Fist Chi with healing ice, allowing him to heal more when he focuses his chi. Magic offers a demonic empowerment to Emma Frost, frequent X-Men teammate and previous user of the Phoenix Force. Due to Emma's exposure to the Phoenix Force, she can actually handle Limbo's unique powers, adding a fiery addition to her choking attack. Hela uses her command of Hell and its connection to Limbo to summon a demon from Limbo whenever she flies away as a crow. Magneto is a morally dubious figure, offering no love without control. Magneto shares magnetic armor with his daughter, the Scarlet Witch, complicated teammate Rogue, and fully malleable Ultron. Scarlet Witch represents a kind of pure love Magneto has, with only dubious undertones of manipulation underneath it. Rogue is full-on, completely manipulative love, seeking control and love in equal terms. Ultron, on the other hand, represents complete control with absolutely no love, using him just because his body is fully malleable and controllable for Magneto's powers. Mantis offers complete understanding, giving understanding vitality to Groot, and even patching any relationship issues with fellow Avengers Scarlet Witch. Groot is granted healing from a new wall of wood, while Wanda is granted healing when an enemy is stunned by her dark seal. Groot represents how gratifying it is to be understood by someone like Mantis, which is what her powers offer, as well as Mantis being so present in the Guardian of the Galaxies in the present time. Scarlet Witch represents her past when she was in the Avengers, and Mantis's current characterization of sympathy overriding any previous dramatic characterizations. Mr. Fantastic offers his own technology to fellow Illuminati members Iron Man and Namor, as well as his wife, Susan Storm. He also helps study the alien symbiote bonded to Eddie Brock, which is a throwback to Secret Wars, when the symbiote originally debuted and he originally studied the symbiote. Iron Man is given biometal plating originating from Iron Lad, who is Mr. Fantastic's descendant from the future. Namor's spear is buffed with cosmic radiation, and Susan is able to recover more quickly from a device that regulates her own cosmic radiation. Thanks to Reed Richards, Eddie Brock is able to sync even more with his symbiote, making Venom's healing more effective. Moon Knight offers Khonshu's blessing to Blade and Daredevil, fellow heroes who dwell in the dark and protect the night. Blade and Daredevil gain 2 attacks with their melee weapons blessed by Khonshu, though neither of them actually believe Moon Knight is blessed by a god, and just see it as Moon Knight training them with his combat abilities. Both are frequent teammates of Moon Knight. Namor reminisces, as he is Marvel's first ever superhero. He remembers the time when the first heroes were himself, the Human Torch Jim Hammond, and Captain America Steve Rogers. This was before Marvel was even called Marvel Comics, when it was called Timely Comics. He offers the current Captain America and Human Torch the blessing of the sea in remembrance of those classic battles from decades before, with the Human Torch able to better control his flames due to the water, and Captain America armored in a veil of water. Penny Parker and Spider team up with 2 heroes who are also from different times. though they're from the opposite direction. Psy, from the distant past, and Black Panther, whose origin is even further back in the past than Psylocke. She offers them technology that stabilizes their bodies in time, offering short rewinds of their actions. Penny is my most played character in the game, but she is clearly an alternate universe character, so I had to be careful with how to handle her team-ups. But I think what stands out about her is her setting and her unique world, and that should be really important for her in Marvel Rivals, since so many people only know her from when she's outside of her own universe, like in the Spider-Verse movies, or in this game. The Phoenix shares the Phoenix Force with close ally Wolverine, fellow cosmic god Adam Warlock, and spacefarer Star-Lord. These three represent three facets of this character. Wolverine represents Jean Grey and her role in the X-Men. Adam Warlock represents the Phoenix deity and its role as a god. And Star-Lord represents her as a hero in space when she's away from the X-Men. Wolverine's claws are empowered by cosmic flame, while Adam's cocoon cooldown is reduced due to the Phoenix also being a deity of revival. Star-Lord's element gun focuses on firing flame bullets with the Phoenix Force. Psylocke sees her enemy Orichi has become a hero, and that magic, even with the Dark Child, is also a true hero. Inspired by this, she offers telepathic assistance to the two. Magic's Soul Sword projectile is psychically enhanced, and Venom is able to launch a glob of symbiote goo that cyclically returns to him like a boomerang. Psylocke's team-up with Magic represents her 616 X-Men life, while Venom represents Psy's life in the Ultimate Universe. Rocket Raccoon is a little thief who wants to steal Bucky's arm and use it as a weapon, of reference to the famous scene from Infinity War. A thief like Rocket appreciates the fellow thief Gambit and his own abilities. Offering him help, Rocket offers Bucky unlimited ammo temporarily, and gives Gambit mines that could heal allies or attack enemies. Rocket doesn't help the other Guardians of the Galaxy as an anchor to reference his standoffishness with them, but he's still connected with them all through his buffed team-up with Groot being the anchor. Rocket is also my main for strategists, and I really want Rocket and Groot to feel invincible together. I want Rocket to want to ride Groot and not do it only temporarily. I want Rocket and Groot to feel invincible together. Rogue absorbs some of Hulk's and Darkchild's powers, calming the minds of Bruce and Illyana. With calmer minds, Magic and Hulk are able to stay in their ultimate form slightly longer. This shows Rogue able to do what she's always wanted for herself, depowering abilities to lead to more control in their life and for their powers. Scarlet Witch teams up with two fellow Avengers members who are not actually original members, Hawkeye and Black Widow. All three of these heroes started as villains and were redeemed and then joined the Avengers. Scarlet Witch magically enhances their weaponry, allowing more powerful attacks from them. Scarlet Witch has always been closer to the Avengers than the X-Men, and she has issues with her father, so she wouldn't anchor for either of those. She also tends to have a chaotic magic that doesn't work well with other dark magicians, like Doctor Strange. Spider-Man teams up with his best friend and ESU classmate, the Human Torch and Squirrel Girl. Johnny Storm and Squirrel Girl gain web bombs capable of briefly stunning opponents. Spider-Man is charismatic and beloved by other heroes, so of course he anchors for two friendly heroes that are very similar to him in their own ways. If anyone is the main character of Marvel, it's Spider-Man. He's number one and gets a good variety of friends to really explore the entire Marvel universe. And while he does represent the world in its entirety, he has a low-key street-level base represented by Doreen and a tiny bit from Johnny. Loki, a cartoon with these three in the vein of Spider-Man and his amazing friends with tribute to Firestar and Iceman would be an amazing and fun time. But speaking of Squirrel Girl uses her ability to communicate with animals, and she does this offering her abilities to Jeff and Rocket Raccoon. Squirrels aid Jeff and Rocket, with a squirrel able to be flung by both as a new attack for both characters. The animal communication and love of animals is an important ability to not only showcase through dialogue, but in gameplay as well, and these team-ups do that. She's also my favorite character in this whole game, but that's unrelated. I think it's also important to have Rocket in this team up and have an animal companion to represent how he's grown to love animals and understand that he is a raccoon and loves animals like fellow raccoons and sees animal life as just as valid as human life or humanoid life. So Rocket getting an animal companion and teaming with Squirrel Girl I feel is very important. Speaking of Guardians, Star-Lord is the leader of the Guardians for good reason, able to reason with and recruit strong defenders. Angela and Agent Venom have both been in the Guardians of the Galaxy before, and Star-Lord is even able to understand the stoic monster that is Groot. Star-Lord empowers each of these three with different elements from his element gun. Angela is empowered by strong winds, increasing her speed and flight. Groot is empowered by water, able to grow more wood walls with less time. Venom is empowered by plasma, able to enhance his melee attacks with electricity, also reminiscent of Agent Venom's more Space Knight persona. These team-ups show Star-Lord works best as a tactician, leading even the strongest and enhancing what they can do. Storm represents gentle understanding and even the eye of the storm. Despite all the chaos, Storm offers comfort to her fellow X-Men, Phoenix and Gambit. Phoenix's wall of fire turns into a sort of tornado, and Gambit forms a hurricane of cards with Storm's assistance. Storm also assists fellow leading lady of the Marvel Universe and fellow Avenger, Black Widow, empowering her kicks with strong winds that blow opponents away. Storm seems like a goddess or a queen with her gentle yet powerful care for others, and that came existing in such chaotic godly power is what makes Ororo a Storm. Punisher is impressed by Hela and Wolverine having no hesitation in killing for what they see as right, and offers them his own assistance. He offers smoke bombs to Hela, blinding her enemies with her minds. Wolverine uses a smoke bomb to hide his trajectory from his feral leaps. Usually Punisher is not a fan of others reducing themselves to killers, but in something like the time stream entanglement, I think he would see it as even more of a necessity to save everyone. The Thing loves to wrestle, and there's no one more on site to fight than the Hulk. Ben also likes the performance aspect of pro wrestling, and so he offers help to Luna Snow as well. If the Thing and the Hulk are close, they can smash into each other, with any opponent in between being crushed, really playing up their friendly rivalry. Luna can turn an enemy to ice, letting the Thing crash into them, shattering them if they're on low enough health. Thor empowers new gods regardless of their origin. He shares his lightning power with Storm and Adam Warlock. Storm's lightning is empowered, while Adam's projectiles are also empowered. Storm comes from Midgard, and Adam from the stars, representing how Thor sees Midgard, Asgard, and all realms as equal and worth protecting. Storm is also worthy of Mjolnir frequently, making her an easy choice for this team-up. Ultron learns of the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond, and that he was an android, and so he offers his help to Johnny, claiming Johnny would be improved by also becoming full machine like his predecessor and Inspiration. He also sees Penny Parker as someone who could be improved by fully integrating into her spider mech. Human Torch and Penny gain miniature drones offering them protection, and Ultron, of course, gets to show off his belief in robotic superiority. Venom shares his symbiotes with two spider heroes who have a history with their own symbiotes, Spider-Man and Penny Parker. Both gain the ability to use symbiotes to fully cover their body, harming anyone near them. This shows how Spider-Man can form actual positive bonds with symbiotes, and how Eddie's symbiote can control itself and wishes to stay loyal to Eddie, even with other powerful hosts sharing their bodies. The Winter Soldier understands his own deep bonds with his romantic partner Natasha and father figure Captain America. He is also able to clash with Captain America, his metal arm meeting Steve's shield in a powerful clash. He is also able to clash with Natasha. However, with Natasha, it's using projectiles. His voltage projectile combines with a plasma shot of Natasha, forming an electric explosion. Bucky having these team-ups show a reclamation of his close relationships, able to reform his partnership with Steve Rogers even after becoming his enemy, and finding the best of his trauma by finding Natasha through the Red Room. You could also see it as Cap representing Bucky and Natasha representing his later Winter Soldier persona. Through Black Widow, Bucky would also, of course, have team-ups with Hawkeye, who he is close to. Finally, our last character is Wolverine. He has his classic and maybe most popular team-up attack on this list, the Fastball Special. Although you could argue Venom and Spider-Man may have a more popular team-up. Anyways, he is able to be flung by Hulk or the Thing, members of the Avengers and Fantastic Four, two teams he has actually been a part of in the past. Wolverine can be seen as the X-Man. So, of course, he's popular enough to get 5 team-ups. He's way too woven into Marvel's world not to have so many team-ups. Wolverine has lost many memories and struggles to hold on to his identity. So, he doesn't have team-ups with everyone he has connections to, for example, Spider-Man or Captain America. He also isn't a leader in the X-Men, so he doesn't anchor for any of the X-Men. But of course, he still participates in team-ups with them through Jean Grey, the X-Men he seems closest to. And that is my idea on a complete revamp of team-ups in Marvel Rivals. Of course, these team-ups can be adjusted with new heroes arriving, but I think we should keep adjustments to a minimum to avoid removing content. Some team-ups just feel too important to ever be removed, like Spider-Man and Johnny Storm or Rocket and Groot. But maybe just one hero moved into a different slot wouldn't be too bad. Of course, balance adjustments are always going to have to be made, but having core team-ups is too important. So I think some team-ups should just never be removed. Is there any character you think should have been considered a main character of Marvel and been upgraded to 5 team-ups? Characters like Rocket Raccoon, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Adam Warlock, they were all considered for 5 team-ups, but of course, balance and future updates have to be accounted for as well, and less team-ups leave more options for the future. I tried to have every team-up make sense, not just for the relationships from Marvel, but the world building of Marvel too, and even for new or lesser explored characters like Luna Snow or Jeff, I tried to make the team-ups make as much sense as I could. I also tried to have the characters' team-ups reflect deeper aspects of the characters, like Deadpool having no anchors, or certain characters having many or few people they anchor for. Of course, I wouldn't want to explain every aspect and every Easter egg between these team-ups I chose, so share any you might have spotted in the comments, and point out any team-ups you think I missed the mark on or should have included and didn't. I'd love to hear your thoughts on every bit of this video, as the balancing of these heroes in this video took a lot of effort to make. Subscribe and comment what you'd like to see for the future videos, and make sure to like and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I hope you tune in for whatever comes next.